Can you describe the Bazaar of all nations?
It was unique. It was
There was nothing else close that was anything like it.
It was a community shopping center is what it was.
The Bazaar is the pioneer.
A place where you could find anything you needed and feel at home.
To see all these different stores and these sights and these sounds and these smells, it was like going to a carnival.
It was hard to leave the Bazaar without buying something.
You know, I really don't think I can describe the Bazaar of all nations. You really had to be there to experience it.
It was kind of the center of the universe.
The one place where you could find whatever you were looking for.
Memorable.
Amazing.
Fabulous.
Community under one roof.
Fun.
Awesome. It was a great place.
There was just so much to do there.
Can't say enough about the Bazaar.
For 33 years, the Bazaar of All Nations stood as a welcoming landmark along the Golden Mile of Baltimore Pike in Delaware County, Pennsylvania. An innovation of retail when it opened in 1960, as sleeker malls followed, the Bazaar evolved into a familiar, unpretentious alternative to the endless array of chain stores and strip malls which would come to characterize the suburban landscape. It was a place where, within a few hours, neighbors and friends could shop for things like clothing, hardware, and the latest records, have their clothes tailored and shoes repaired, stop in for a haircut, and wrap up the day with a soft pretzel, cinnamon bun, or a frosty mug of beer. It was a city of shopping under one roof. In the 1950s, as suburbia grew and became synonymous with the American dream, the convenience and amenities of a city center became necessary on a suburban level.
The Bazaar was really the first. It was very unique in the sense that it took some of the qualities of a farmer's market and then what came after the Bazaar, which were the malls. It was kind of like a combination of that.
When the Bazaar opened, it was right in between those two eras, you know, like the heyday of the Main Street, you know, where there was a department store and a Woolworths, or 5 and 10 and a drugstore. You know, there was in between that era and the mall era. And that's how it got its foothold and became so well known and became a real phenomenon in this area.
It's a happy-go-spending world, reflected in the windows of the suburban shopping centers where they go to buy.
Strip malls, shopping centers, and eventually enclosed malls were built to meet the demands of suburban consumers. Morris Kravitz, the man behind the idea of the Bazaar, was a developer of such projects. In 1949, Kravitz opened his first shopping center in the Minoa community of Haverford Township, Pennsylvania. Recognized as an innovator in retail real estate, he'd go on to join other developers in forming the International Council of Shopping Centers. Kravitz's next major project, which would come to be known as the Bazaar of All Nations, was started under the name Oak Park Shopping Center. It was to have included about 60 stores, a department store, bowling alley, skating rink, restaurant, roof terrace, and a children's play area with a wading pool. The 40-acre tract of land for this development was purchased from Hannah Realty in 1954 and consisted of land which was previously part of the Burn-Bray Hospital grounds. Founded in 1859 by Dr. Robert Given, Burn-Bray was situated between Oak and Bishop Avenues on the south side of Baltimore Pike. To design his new shopping complex, Morris Kravitz hired the architectural firm of Victor Gruen Associates in early 1954. Their preliminary plans never materialized, most likely due to the high costs that would have been associated with such an ambitious project. Also lost was a chance at history, as within 2 years, the firm's principal architect, Victor Gruen, would design Southdale Regional Shopping Center. The original intent of the Bazaar was to have stores featuring merchandise from all over the world. But the name Bazaar of All Nations was not the first choice of Morris Kravitz and his associates. The Merchandise Mart, as it was referred to in the press, was billed as Bazaar International when construction plans were announced in January 1960. It was soon learned that a Florida shopping center by the same name had opened in the previous year, prompting Kravitz to change the name of his project to Bazaar of All Nations. Delaware County residents were treated to a sneak preview of the Bazaar of All Nations on November 3, 1960. In announcing the opening, the Delaware County Daily Times described at length this novel, self-styled $5 million city of shopping, likening the aisles to streets and detailing the dizzying array of goods, services, and foods available. It covered an area equivalent to 4 city blocks and employed over 600 salespeople and a private security force of 18. It was claimed that the light fixtures laid end to end would extend 24 miles. The paper was quite impressed by the main entrance, fronted by 10,000 square feet of glass. Opening a full year before the Cherry Hill Mall, which was heralded as the first enclosed mall east of the Mississippi, the Bazaar was groundbreaking for the area. A week later, on November 10th, the Bazaar had its official grand opening. Television star and Upper Darby native Keith Andes was on hand for the festivities, as well as internationally known singer-comedian Sadok Severe.
I mean, it was like the biggest thing to hit Clifton Heights. Everybody that was living in the town was there for that, and it's around like Springfield or Seacane. They were coming from all over.
The Bazaar of All Nations was extremely unique, and just it's all-in-one shopping kind of a concept, you know, whereas before, if you went to 69th Street or Darby, you know, you had to go to the individual stores. Here you had in this huge parking lot with all this parking, this concept of a mall, and it happened to be called the Bazaar, which was bizarre, to say the least, so it's pretty cool.
At first, people didn't know what to expect. And so they walked the halls from one end to the other and back again. That was a long walk, you know, because of the building size.
And it was just a 900-foot building with rows of fluorescent lighting.
When it first originally opened, I believe there was like 102 stores, 152 stores.
It was just so funny to see everything under one roof. You know, it was original.
The Bazaar was very busy from the first day it opened.
The Bazaar used to have incredible amounts of people walking up and down the halls. They would come in the summer just to cool off because we were one of the first inside malls that had air conditioning. That was a big draw for people.
When you first opened, you could not move in them aisles. You seen a lot of businessmen all dressed up. They were lawyer-type people. They coming through and investigating and checking. They were all interested in to see how the Bazaar would make out. And us salespeople used to say, here comes another tram car along. It's on the boardwalk in the Bazaar that weekend.
There were so many things going on constantly. It was just hard to focus. You just wanted to get from point A to point B because too many things occurred.
It was a fabulous city of shopping because you could get anything you needed there.
You know, you go in there, you can have lunch at one place, you get a belt buckle at the place next door, and you can get some 8-track tapes at the next door to that, and the guy right next to the guy making your hamburger was a guy making keys. And it was all like, nobody blinked an eye. It was all normal.
Alternate reality. Black is white. In an alternate reality. Day is night. In an alternate reality. False is true, but in every reality I love you. One day I traveled back in time, cured the plague, stepped on a butterfly, rewrote the Gettysburg Address, wrote Gutenberg's first printing press. When I got back, the world was strange. The Dalai Lama was deranged. Bicycles were dirty, cars were clean, goats were replaced by a machine. I thought, oh man, that's really weird. Is this done worse than I had feared? Have I done good? Have I done harm? But then you threw yourself in my arms. In an alternate reality. Black is white. In an alternate reality. Day is night. In an alternate reality. False is true, but in every reality I love you. Next time I went back to the past, I canceled Steve Jobs' calligraphy class, burned Newton's out. Hitler drown. When I got back to my own time, somehow the words orange and banana rhymed. Fred Phelps and Lady Gaga were in love. The world was ruled by an evil glove. But my God, what have I done? How did the world turn out so wrong? How can I get it back on track? Then I kissed you and you kissed me back in an alternate reality. Black is white in an alternate reality. Day is night in an alternate reality. False is true, but in every reality I love you.
I consider myself a relatively intelligent individual. But when it comes to directions, I am completely clueless. Not following instructions, mind you. I tend to excel in that department. I just seem to have no sense of exactly where I am in the world.
I'm so excited. I can't wait.
Yeah, me too. Me too. I haven't gotten tired of it at all.
Yeah, the direction, the writing, it's just, I'm blown away at how good it is.
Oh, looks like Alyssa got a little lost again. Says she'll be here in a couple minutes, though.
Oh, shoot, where's she now?
Just crossing the George Washington Bridge?
The GW? She knows we live near Philly, right? Where's High School Road?
I think it's near where she lives in Central Jersey.
Okay, let me explain a couple of things. Growing up, I was quite studious and didn't travel much. Or pay attention to my surroundings when I did. To this day, I still don't actually know the name of the road I got turned around on. But it's not completely illogical to call a road your high school resides on High School Road. In addition, 2 other high schools in the region are easily accessible from this street. Hence, High School Road. As for the George Washington Bridge, I was wrong. I couldn't figure out the look of horror on my friends' faces when I arrived only a couple of minutes later than I had initially stated. It wasn't until someone pulled out a map that I began to understand the confusion my text had caused. I was actually crossing the Ben Franklin Bridge when I had texted them I was crossing the George Washington. Naturally, they were skeptical I was only going to be a couple of minutes late. But what I really want to know is who is the marketing genius who who thought it'd be a great idea to name a bridge leading into New York after one of the founding fathers. It makes far more sense to have all bridges in and around the Philadelphia area named after people who signed the Declaration of Independence. However, I must admit that sometimes the fault in direction is my own.
Looks like we're doing fine on time if you want to stop for a cup of coffee. And so much for being on time.
What?
You just blew past the turn.
I'm sorry. I was being chased by hitmen.
What can I say? I'm an incurable dreamer. I often wonder if it's worth spending so much time ruminating about the past. After all, as another classic dreamer once said, I can't go back to yesterday because I was a different person then. Who knows who I'll be the next time you see me?
Almost heaven on earth is perhaps the best way to describe a new shelter for cats in New Jersey. This state-of-the-art sanctuary is one generous man's tribute to a cat named Tabby, who was truly loved. Hello, I'm Sandy Levine. Animal shelters around New Jersey are filled to the brim with cats and kittens that are looking for loving homes. And sadly, every year, because facilities run out of room, tens of thousands of cats wind up being euthanized. Today on this special edition of Homeless Tales, we'll visit a cat sanctuary named Tabby's Place, where a few lucky cats find refuge.
It was very hard when Tabby died. It was very hard knowing he was going to die, watching the cancer grow, and knowing there was nothing to do. And it was very hard when he died, yeah. You know, I haven't been the same since, I'll be honest with you.
Jonathan Rosenberg had a lucrative job as Chief Technology Officer at an internet company when his beloved Tabby came down with terminal cancer. Rosenberg longed to do something meaningful to honor Tabby. What he chose would change his life.
It just struck me one day when I was on the phone with my boss that I was going to quit and do something for cats. I mean, I can still remember talking on the phone and all of a sudden it just hit me. I'm just going to resign and do this. That's what's been kind of brewing inside me, I realized.
So, using several $1 million of his own money, Rosenberg built Tabby's Place in Ringgoes, with an expansive lobby and comfortable couches, and immaculate glass-fronted suites where cats roam free, no cages, while they wait to be adopted. These cats, now living in the lap of luxury as shelters go, were nearly all rescued from death's doorstep.
The mission of Tabby's Place is to take cats in what we call hopeless situations. We want the cats that kind of the neediest cats in the most desperate situations. So most of the cats here have come to us from shelters where they were scheduled for euthanasia, because to our mind, that's kind of the most straightforward, desperate situation.
As animal shelters go, this is probably top of the line.
Dr. Sharon Johnson is in charge of veterinary care at Tabby's Place. While many shelters can't afford to help cats with serious diseases, at Tabby's Place, cats with kidney disease, diabetes, and even cancer generally get what they need.
I won't say our money is unlimited, because we always need more money to help support what we're doing here, but to see that the animals get as good medical care as is humanly possible. It's certainly very gratifying. It makes you feel very good.
Come here, Abigail. Come on.
Tabby's Place houses about 75 cats at a time. Rosenberg's a hands-on director who gets to know each cat by name. Unlike overcrowded, publicly funded shelters that can't turn animals away, Tabby's Place, as a private facility, can limit the number of cats coming in to keep stress levels down and the quality of life high.
We're not trying to save the most cats. I mean, we'd like to save a lot, but the ones that we do save, those are our priority, to give them whatever's best for them, for each cat. So it's great here, but you know what? It's not as good as a house.
She's amazing company for me.
Andrea McGrother adopted Dulcie from Tabby's Place, a cat that was rescued in the nick of time from euthanasia at a New York shelter. McGrother says she's thankful Tabby's Place was there to save Dulcie, even if Dulcie, like most cats, remains unfazed.
She's spoiled rotten, and she has no idea how good she has it. She's found a perfect home.
Rosenberg's vision of Tabby's Place doesn't end here. With the help of donations, he hopes someday to expand the sanctuary to accommodate up to 500 cats at a time. It's quite a legacy for a one-time stray, the gift of life to cats in need, and a life with more meaning for his one-time owner.
I feel blessed to have been able to do this, and I feel really blessed to be able to meet so many really nice cats and help them and hold them and handle them and give them their meds and let them go when it's time.
What do you think Tabby would think about what you've created?
You know, I forget where, somewhere on the internet and some mailing list I was on, and someone said they think they see Tabby up in heaven pointing at talking to the other cats and saying, "There's my people, look at what they've done," and being proud.
For more information on Tabby's Place, call 908-237-5300 or visit tabby'splace.org. You can help by adopting a cat from the sanctuary, volunteering, or by donating money to help a cat with special needs. And to see cats and dogs from around the state that need permanent loving homes, tune into Homeless Tales every day on NJN. You'll meet wonderful shelter animals, all with their own special stories, who deserve a second chance. For Homeless Tales, I'm Sandy Levine. Funding for Homeless Tales is provided by the Geraldine R. Dodge Foundation and viewers like you.